This is a pair of dial calipers, and it's a measurement tool for making really precise measurements. So we can measure, so we have lines here that represent millimeters, and then in this dial allows us to get to 1/10 of a millimeter and even 100th of a millimeter, which is much more than we need, but it's useful for measuring things. And I'm just going to show you the 3 ways you can use this to measure something. So we can pinch these on something to measure the thickness. We can move it out here to measure the thickness. You can kind of measure it and then leave it in place so you come over and read it. And then these pieces right here can be used to measure inside of something. Okay, so this distance right here is the same as that distance right here, and it's going to give me how far apart this gap is, how big that gap is. And then the last way we can use it is to measure the depth of something. So at the bottom you'll see that as it slides, this piece moves out. And so I can put this right here and move it so that this touches the surface below, and then I get a distance here that represents whatever the width or the depth of this object was. Okay, so that's some of the basics about a dial caliper, and next I'm going to show you how to actually read one. So this video is going to be focusing on how to read a dial caliper. Okay, and so down here we have inches. We're not going to be focused on that. We're going to be looking up here where we have millimeters. Alright, so remember 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. And so we have 10, so if we were to measure the diameter of this, we have 10, 20, 30, 40, and we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 48 millimeters. But you can see here it's a little bit more than 48. There's a little bit more there. And so then we go over to here, and we can see this gauge. And in this gauge we have this little red line, which represents how many millimeters. If you're using inches, you use the outside one. We're using millimeters, and so we can count over 1, 2, 3, 4, or in between 3 and 4, right? And this looks like 3, 2. So if we were to record this, this would be, this is 48 to here, and then we got 0.3 from right here. And then if we want to read one more line over, we can include this too. We could say it's 48.32. Okay, but for what this basically represents, this 2 is 1/10,000th. No, sorry, 1/100,000th of a meter. And this is precision that's far, far more than we need. And so anything that you can do to like 1/10 of a millimeter is fine. So you could say this is 48.3 millimeters. If you really wanted to add that 2 on there, you could, but that's the precision here. We've gotten so far that it's unnecessary to go any further. Okay, so this is how you would use a dial caliper to take a reading. You'll notice that this dial kind of goes around twice, and it's just the way it's set up. So you could get the 0.32 there. If it was an odd numbered one, it would be on this side right here. That's all it means. Okay. And so this is a really useful tool for taking measurements, especially when you're trying to design something. So please let me know if you have any questions about using calipers.